Well, I started tithing pretty much when I was old enough to have money. And I started tithing. The reason why is because it was a commandment that God, commands us to do. It's kind of like a way to honor Him and show Him that we're loyal to Him and that we love Him. And it kind of puts Him as a priority in our lives.
I did not start tithing at a young age. In fact, for me, it was the complete opposite. When Sarvia and I got married, we were church hopping, looking for a place to call home. And every time the bucket would pass, I would turn to her and say, "Don't you dare put a nickel in there."
We had anxieties about tithing, I think, right after we got married, and we were a young couple just kind of getting started. And for the first time, the entire financial burden of our livelihood fell on us.
I do remember, there being times when I'm looking at the checkbook and I'm thinking, oh gosh, like this is gonna get us pretty close to the line, but God's always been faithful to us. We need to be faithful to Him.
When we first decided to tithe, well, that was quite a while ago. We were giving every once in a while when we could. Then we started thinking, what if God gave to us every once in a while when He felt like it as well? And at that point, we realized, know something? If we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
So there was some anxiety at the beginning, but the whole purpose of tithing, we believe, is to just grow in your faith and in trust of God. So it was something that we always stuck to and committed to, and always saw, God always carry us through a lot of tough times.
To me, it just doesn't make sense not to tithe, because everything we have comes from God, and He tells us in the Bible that He wants us to tithe. So why would we, if we're afraid, okay, if we tithe, we're not going to have enough, that's so silly, because God's the one that controls whether we have enough or not.
We look at our income and we think our income is 100% ours, and it really isn't. It's 100% His. So who are we to withhold 10%? It's funny because, as you go through the Bible has over 2,000 verses specifically on money, but 500 on prayer. You see? So we've got so much in the Bible about money, but we don't live by the Bible when it comes to money.
On a personal level, I've never met anyone that has regretted making the decision to tithe. I've seen plenty of people struggling, wondering why, they're struggling financially or why they're going through certain situations. And, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they just refuse to let go of that part of their life.
What I would say to someone who is thinking about tithing and isn't sure, in the Bible it says over and over, do not test your God, except one instance. And God says, you can test me in this one thing. If you tithe, I will show my faithfulness back to you. So I'd say to someone who's thinking about it, God actually says test me on this, and He never says that for anything else.
If anyone's on the fence about tithing, I would say, if you're not on the fence about whether or not you want to be a follower of Christ, then you shouldn't be on the fence about tithing. It's pretty much a black and white issue.
I would say, well, first of all, if you're thinking about it, there's a reason why you're thinking about it. Maybe you think you should do it, but there's something else holding you back, and the question is, what is that thing? And then second of all, I would say, try it. Allow God to work the miracle in your life. Since we've been tithing regularly, we haven't had really any serious financial worries at all. And you would think it would be the converse, because you're actually giving. But the more we give, the more we receive. So I would just say, try it out. Allow God, allow others to be the miracle in your life.